To be doing Unit 2, Learning Target 5. So Unit 2, Learning Target 5 is talking about solving systems by substitution. Now for many students, this is one of the tougher things that we're going to do all year. So I'm going to ask that you guys are really patient and don't get frustrated. I would never give you something that you can't handle, okay? So I really want you guys just to take your time and really make sure you're asking me questions so I can help. Okay, so here are the steps. You'll want to write these steps down because then if you ever get stuck, you can look back at your steps. So the first step is to substitute that equation into the other equation. Now this probably makes no sense right now, but again, I want you to have it written down so you have it for future use. The second is to solve for the remaining variable. What's going to happen is we're going to have two equations, each with two variables, and we need to know what each of those variables is. So once you've solved for that first variable, your third step is to substitute that value into either equation and solve for the remaining variable. So let's go ahead and let's take a peek at what this is going to look like. Again, take your time. It might take a little while to fully grasp. That's okay. Give the note sheet a ride out, and if after you've watched a couple of problems or the whole note sheet, you still really don't understand, then we'll definitely take some time and work together. But just give it a couple of problems first, okay? So for number 1, I have x is equal to 2y plus 36. So x is equal to that. If you think about a time when I was gone, I had a substitute. Okay, so we're going to let x represent Miss Humbert, and the 2y plus 36, well, that's going to represent my substitute, or Mr. Austin maybe. Okay, so Mr. Austin is going to come in and take my place. So Mr. Austin is going to come in and take my place. Now think about it logically. If I was gone, Mr. Austin's here. If Mr. Austin's here, would I still be here? No, Mr. Austin is going to completely take my place. Now, when I'm gone, does that mean that the whole classroom changes around us because I'm gone? No, just me not being here changes, which means that this whole thing, my whole classroom, is going to stay the same. So the only thing that changes is that we took out me, or the x, and we put in Mr. Austin instead, or that 2y plus 36. So let's go ahead and let's combine like terms. So we have 2y plus 2y, which is 4y plus 36 is equal to 8. So now I want to solve for y. So the first thing I want to do is get my 36 over to the other side. So then 8 minus 36 is going to give me a negative 28. So the 4y stays there, and then I have negative 28. Now I'm solving that for y. Since that y is being multiplied by 4, I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And then I end up getting that y is equal to a negative 7. So that's what my y is equal to. I need to get my x. So I'm going to look back at my original equation. Now once I know what y is equal to, I can plug it into whatever y I want. I could plug it into that one, or I could plug it into that one. Now here's the trick. Notice that on number 1, the second equation is already solved for x, which means that that's an easier equation to plug it into. I don't know about you guys, but I always like making my life easier. So now I have this equation, x is equal to 2y plus 36. So what I'm going to do is, now that I know that y is equal to 7, or negative 7, sorry, I'm going to take the y out, and I'm going to put negative 7 in instead. So then I have 2 times negative 7 plus 36. So I get negative 14 plus 36. Add those two together, and I get that x is equal to 22. So now what we want to do is write our answer as a coordinate point. First we write our x, then we write our y. So this right here is our final answer for number 1. Now let's take a look at number 2. Again, I see that this is solved for x. Here we have Miss Humbert, here we have Mr. Austin. So where I see Miss Humbert up here, I'm going to take Miss Humbert out, and I'm going to put Mr. Austin in. Everything around Miss Humbert is going to stay the same though. So I'm still going to have that 2 there. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to multiply all of that negative 2y plus 15 is going to be multiplied by that 2 that was originally on the outside of the x. And then the rest of the equation is going to stay the same. Okay, so now what we need to do is distribute. So 2 times a negative 2y is negative 4y. 2 times 15 is 30, and then we have minus 3y is equal to 2. So I'm going to combine these two terms. Negative 4y minus 3y is going to get more negative, so I get negative 7y plus 30 is equal to 2. So then I want to get my 30 over to the other side, so I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides since it's positive. Negative 7y is going to be equal to negative 28. Then I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 7. Now when you divide a negative and negative, it becomes positive. So my answer for y is a positive 4. So looking back up here, I can plug that in for this y or for this y. Again, the second equation is already solved for x, so to me it's easier to plug it into x is equal to negative 2y plus 15. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the y out, and I'm putting 4 in instead because I know that y is equal to 4, and then I'm going to add 15. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8 plus 15. Negative 8 plus 15 is going to be 7. So now we want to write it out as a coordinate point. First our x, then our y. So our solution is 7, 4 for number 2. Next, let's go ahead and let's take a look at number 3, solving these by substitution. So I see that the second equation is already solved for x. X is equal to 3y, so I'm going to find x in the other equation. Now where I see that x is what I'm going to take out. So the rest of the equation is going to stay the exact same, and instead of writing x, I'm going to put 3y in instead. Okay, so I have 7y is equal to 26. Now I need to take and I need to multiply the 11 times the 3. And when you multiply those two together, you end up getting plus 33y. Now in order to solve this equation, I need to get my y's on the same side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and subtract 33y over to the other side so that I just have y's on that left-hand side. Well, 7 minus 33 is going to give me a negative 26y is equal to 26. Now, I need to divide that negative 26 by both sides so I can solve for y. 26 divided by negative 26 is going to give me a negative 1. So y is equal to a negative 1. So where I see y all the way up here, I can plug in negative 1 for this y or for this y. Well, I notice again that that second equation is already solved for x, so I'm going to plug it into that one. So I'm going to use the equation x is equal to 3y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out that y and I'm going to substitute in negative 1 instead, since that's what y is equal to. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. So then we're going to write our answer as a coordinate point. First our x, then our y. So that's our final answer for number 3. Now, let's take a look at number 4. I see that both of these are solved for y. That's no big deal, okay? What we're going to do now is we are going to say, okay, y is equal to 4 plus x. So where I see y up there, I'm going to take y out completely, and instead I'm going to put in 4 plus x. So really what I'm doing is I'm setting, the two equations equal to each other. So I have 4 plus x is equal to 3x minus 4. So now what I need to do is I need to get the x's on the same side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this positive 1x and I'm going to bring it over to the other side. Since it's a positive 1x, I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So I have 4 is equal to 3x minus x, which is 2x, and then minus 4. So the next thing I need to do to solve is to add 4 to both sides. 4 plus 4 is 8. And that's going to be equal to 2x. Well, the 2 is being multiplied by the x, so to get it over to the other side, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And then I end up getting that x is equal to 4. So I can plug that x in here or here, and it doesn't matter which one you pick. And actually, both of them are pretty easy, but I'm just going to use the second one because that's what I've been doing. So I'm taking y is equal to 4 plus x, and instead of writing x, I'm going to plug in 4 because that's what x is equal to. So y is equal to 4 plus 4, which is 8. And now I'm going to write that out as a coordinate point. First I write my x, then I write my y. So that's my final answer for number 4. So this is going to be a lot of the same stuff. If you want to try it on your own because you think you got it, feel free. Otherwise, I'm going to keep talking through this. Ultimately, you need to have a completed note video and note sheet. You decide if you want to do the note sheet on your own or with my help with the video. So let's take a look. Now, the first one solved for x, the second one solved for y. So it really doesn't matter which one we put where. Well, since x is equal to 4y, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to substitute that in for y down below. So then what I'm going to do is instead of writing, oops, I need to put it in for x. Good gracious, Miss Humbert, what are you doing? So x is equal to 4y. So where I see x down there, since x is equal to 4y, I can take x out and put 4y in instead. So I get y is equal to -3. Now instead of writing x, I'm going to substitute in that 4y plus 26. So -3 times 4 is a -12y plus 26. So now I need to get my y's on the same side. So since this is a -12y, to get it over to the other side, I need to add 12y. So I get 13y is equal to 26. Then from there, I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 13. 26 divided by 13 is going to give me 2. So now I know that y is equal to 2, so I can plug it in here or here. I'm actually going to plug it into that first equation because that's one's already solved for x, and that's what I'm trying to get. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take my y out and I'm going to put 2 in instead. So here I get that x is equal to 8. Then we want to write it out as a coordinate point. First our x, and then our y. So let's take a look at number 6. So for number 6, I see that y is equal, it's already solved for y, and I see that it's equal to 3x plus 7. So up here, I'm going to take y out completely, and I'm going to put in 3x plus 7 in its place. So I have -4x plus 2, and now I'm going to take the y out, and I'm going to put 3x plus 7 in its place because y is equal to that, so I'm taking it out. And that's going to be equal to 16. So the first thing I want to do is distribute in that 2 into everything that I substituted for y. So I get -4x, 2 times 3 is 6x, 2 times 7 is 14, and that's going to be equal to 16. So now what I want to do is combine my x's. -4x plus 6x is going to give me 2x, plus 14 is equal to 16. So now I need to get my 14 over to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 14 from both sides. So I get 2x is equal to 2. Now I need to solve for x. Well, since that 2 is being multiplied by the x, I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I get that x is equal to 1. Okay, x is equal to 1. So taking a look at the original problem, I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to substitute in 1 for that x. So what I'm going to do is I have 3x plus 7, so I'm going to take the 1 out, or the x out, and put 1 in instead. Well, 3 times 1 is 3 plus 7, so you end up getting that y is equal to 10. Now we need to write that out as a coordinate point. First we write our x, and then we write our y. And that's our final answer for number 6. Next, let's take a look at number 7. We need to solve this system by substitution. So I see that y is equal, or x is equal to y minus 9. So x is equal to that, so they can replace each other. So where I see x out here, I can take x out completely, and I'm going to put y minus 9 in instead. So I take x out and I put y minus 9 in, and then plus y is equal to 5. Remember, everything else around the equation stays the same. So now I need to solve. So y plus y is going to be equal to 2y minus 9 is equal to 5. Then I need to go ahead and add 9 to both sides. So 2y is equal to 5 plus 9, which is going to be 14. Then divide both sides by 2. And when I divide both sides by 2, I end up getting that y is equal to 7. So y and 7 are the same thing. So I can plug it into either one of these equations. I'm going to choose the second one because it's already solved for x. So I have x is equal to 7 or y minus 9. Well, I'm going to plug in 7 for the y, so I really end up having 7 minus 9. And here I get that x is equal to negative 2. So I have first my x coordinate, then my y coordinate, and I'm writing that out as a point. So let's take a look at number 8. So for number 8, I see that y is equal to 6x minus 11. So y is equal to 6x minus 11. So where I see y down there, I'm going to take y out completely and put 6x minus 11 in instead. So I have negative 2x minus 3. Now instead of having that y, I'm putting in 6x minus 11. And that's going to be equal to a negative 7. So now I'm going to take that negative 3 and distribute it in. So I have negative 2x. Negative 3 times 6x is going to be a negative 18x. Negative 3 times negative 11, negative times a negative is a positive, and that's going to be 33. Now that's going to be equal to a negative 7. Now, negative 2x minus 18x, when you add two negative numbers together, they get more negative. So I'm going to get this. So then what I want to do is get my 33 over to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 33 from both sides. So I get negative 20x is equal to negative 40. So now that 20 is being multiplied by the x. So to get it over to the other side, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 20. Well, that ends up giving me that x is equal to 2. So now I know that x is equal to 2. I can plug it back in here or here. Well, this top equation is already solved for y, which makes it easier to plug that in. So y is equal to 6, and now instead of writing x, I'm going to put it 2, and then minus 11. So then 6 times 2 is 12, and minus 11. 12 minus 11 is 1. So I get that y is equal to 1. So now I'm going to write that out as a coordinate point, first my x, and then my y. So here's what we're going to do. If you feel like you understand it, you can skip the last two problems and come ahead and get your practice sheet. If you're struggling with this stuff, bring your note sheet up and we'll do 9 and 2 together in person, one-on-one. So if you still need help, let's save the last two problems for you to do with me. If you get it, you can go ahead and show me your note sheet and start your practice sheet. So that's it for this video.